Hey everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sixpath Weeb, and you're tuned into a fandom fusion like no other. Today's fanfic feature is Harry Potter x Naruko, Worlds Collide, a crossover where magic meets chakra, and destinies are rewritten. Disclaimer, all anime and media content used here is strictly for entertainment and discussion. I do not own any of the original footage, all rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. So grab your wands and summon your shadow clones. Let's dive right in. The sun over Konoha shone brightly, casting long golden rays across the rooftops of the Hidden Leaf Village. The air was crisp and cool, the kind that hinted at the early days of autumn. Naruko Uzumaki stood atop the Hokage monument, arms stretched high in the sky as she grinned widely, the wind ruffling her spiky blonde hair. "Today's gonna be awesome," she declared to no one in particular. She had a mission briefing in an hour, a prank plan for Konohamaru later, and maybe, just maybe, she could convince Iruka-sensei to treat her to ramen if she got through the day without blowing something up. In short, life was good. Or at least, it was, until the sky tore open like a sheet of paper being ripped by invisible hands. At first, it looked like a crack, a shimmering slash of silver light right in the middle of the clear blue sky. Birds scattered, crying in alarm, and Naruko's smile faltered. "Huh?" she muttered, squinting at the strange rippling air above the Hokage monument. It wasn't chakra, at least, not any kind she'd ever felt before. It was colder, older, wilder. Before she could even take a step back, the crack widened, spiraling outward like a whirlpool of stars. With a whoosh of displaced wind and a flicker of brilliant white light, something, or someone, fell out of it. The figure tumbled through the air, arms flailing wildly, before crashing into a bush at the base of the monument with a loud thud. Naruko's eyes widened. Oh man, that looked like it hurt. She bounded down from the monument, racing toward the smoking crater. "Hey! Are you okay? Did you fall from the sky or something? Because that was insane." From within the dust and leaves, a boy groaned. He looked about her age, with messy black hair and round glasses that were slightly askew. His clothes were torn at the sleeves and smudged with soot, and a long stick, some kind of wand, had rolled out of his hand. Where am I?" he muttered, trying to sit up. Naruko crouched beside him, tilting her head. "You look like you got in a fight with a toad and lost. You okay? Wait, what's that thing?" She pointed to the wand, reaching for it curiously. "No, don't touch that," the boy said quickly, snatching it back. He blinked at her, clearly confused. "Who are you? What is this place?" "I'm Naruko Uzumaki. And this is Konoha, duh. Hidden Leaf Village? You're not from around here, huh?" The boy stared at her, looking more bewildered by the second. "No. I'm Harry Potter. I was at Hogwarts. There was an explosion. Some kind of spell went wrong, and now I'm here." He looked around at the unfamiliar architecture, the stone faces carved into the mountain behind him, and the shinobi headband glinting on Naruko's forehead. This isn't Earth, is it?" Naruko laughed, not unkindly. "Earth? I don't know what that is, but I can tell you one thing. You're definitely not in Hogwarts anymore, Harry." Naruko helped Harry to his feet, brushing leaves from his shoulders as she looked curiously at the sky. The tear had vanished, sealed as quickly as it had opened, but the weird energy still prickled her senses like invisible static. "So you were doing some kind of magic and ended up crash landing here?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. "You're not, like, cursed or anything, right? Because last time someone fell from the sky, we had a giant centipede demon rampage through the market district." "I don't think I'm cursed," Harry muttered, swaying slightly. "It was a spell we were practicing in defense against the dark arts, a shield charm combined with a teleportation rune. Hermione said it wasn't stable yet, but..." He trailed off, his brow furrowing. "Something went wrong. Right before the portal opened, I saw shadows. Something moved in the spell, like it was hijacked. I think I blacked out mid-teleport." Naruko's grin faded. Her instincts as a shinobi, especially as someone with a not-so-peaceful history of surprise attacks, flared to life. She scanned the surrounding trees, her blue eyes narrowing. "Yeah. I don't like this." She reached into her pouch and pulled out a kunai. "Come on. We're going to the Hokage. If something followed you here, we need to figure out what, fast." Harry nodded shakily, still gripping his wand like a lifeline. He followed Naruko through the winding village streets, drawing stares from a few curious vendors and kids who'd never seen someone in robes before. "Is that a fancy nightgown?" someone whispered. At the Hokage Tower, Lady Tsunade listened to Naruko's rapid explanation, arms crossed, expression tight. Shizune hovered nearby, scribbling notes while Tuntun the pig snorted in concern. When Harry showed her his wand and described the magical mishap, Tsunade raised an eyebrow. "So, you're a wizard from another world," she said slowly, eyes locked on Harry. "And you accidentally tore open a portal using unstable magical runes?" When he nodded, she sighed deeply. "This is why we don't let Genon do spacetime jutsu unsupervised." "But I'm not a Genon," Harry said weakly. "Same difference," Tsunade grunted. "Either way, this might be serious. I've felt weird chakra fluctuations ever since you arrived." She turned toward Shizune. "Dispatch a tracking team to the forest near the monument. If anything else came through that portal, I want it found before it finds us." Meanwhile, in the deep woods beyond Konoha's border, a shadow shifted among the trees. It moved like smoke, long, serpentine, but with jagged claws of darkness that scraped across bark and stone. It had no true shape, only a presence, a hunger that had slipped through the same portal as Harry. It was not magic. It was not chakra. It was something in between. And it was searching. A pair of patrolling ninja, unaware of the lurking danger, chatted lightly as they scanned the tree line. One paused, frowning. "You hear that?" A whisper. A cold hiss. Before they could react, the shadow struck, fast as lightning, soundless as a ghost. The forest went silent. Back in the village, Harry stared at the open windows of the Hokage Tower, a chill crawling up his spine. Tsunade-sama. If it really was a shadow that came through, it's not just a monster. It could be part of something bigger. There are creatures in my world, things that feed on fear, or hatred. Dementors, boggarts, cursed spirits. What if it wasn't just an accident? "You think someone sent this thing on purpose?" Naruko asked, suddenly serious. Harry hesitated. Maybe. Or maybe the portal acted like a magnet. There are dark forces that move between dimensions when something powerful enough rips through the barrier. And I've fought them before. Naruko's kunai glinted as she twirled it. "Well, guess what, wizard boy? So have I." Later that night, a scout ninja returned, pale, injured, eyes wide with fear. He collapsed at the Hokage's feet. "Tsunade-sama. Something's out there." It took Cho and Hato. There was no sound. No chakra trail. Just cold. His voice trembled. It looked like a shadow with eyes. Harry's heart skipped a beat. "No. It can't be." "You know what this is?" Tsunade asked sharply. "If it's what I think it is," Harry said grimly, standing, "then we're in serious trouble. That thing might be a shadow wraith. They're ancient magical echoes, part spell, part spirit. They slip into cracks between worlds and feed on fear and chaos. They're nearly invisible to normal senses. Unless you've fought one before." Naruko cracked her knuckles. "Well, looks like we've got ourselves a monster hunt." Over the next few days, strange things began happening in the village. The sky dimmed earlier than it should have. Flowers wilted. Children had nightmares, the kind that made them scream in their sleep. Scrolls flew off shelves. Shadows stretched longer than they should. And still, the thing remained unseen, hiding, waiting, feeding. Naruko, Harry, and a small squad of Konoha ninja, including Shikamaru, Hinata, and Kiba, began patrolling the woods where the disturbance had been first reported. Harry used a detection charm, Hominum Revelio, but the shadow creature was slippery, vanishing before the magic could pin it down. Naruko was undeterred. "You might have your spells," she said with a smirk, "but I've got gut instinct and a whole lot of stubborn." Their first real encounter came 3 nights later. They had set up a perimeter with sealing tags and protective wards, combining ninja techniques and magic. It was a delicate fusion, scrolls infused with runes, traps powered by both chakra and incantations. Harry stood at the center, wand raised, while Naruko watched the treetops. Then, a low, wet hiss. The leaves trembled. One of the tags burst into black flames. "It's here," Harry shouted. The shadow lunged, a mass of writhing dark tendrils, shrieking in voices that were not voices. It slammed into the barrier, which sparked and flickered. Naruko dashed forward with a clone jutsu, sending a dozen copies rushing the creature. Each clone struck, but their fists passed through the thing like smoke. "It's not solid," she yelled. "Harry! Try something magic." "Why?" "Expecto Patronum," Harry shouted, thrusting his wand forward. A burst of silver light erupted from the tip, the shimmering form of a stag, charging the shadow like a ghostly knight. The creature screamed as the light struck it, its form unraveling slightly. But it wasn't destroyed, only weakened. It retreated into the darkness, leaving scorched grass and trembling leaves in its wake. Naruko exhaled hard, sweat beading on her brow. Okay, that was not a centipede demon. We're gonna need a better plan. The forest was quiet again. Too quiet. The air still crackled with leftover magic and chakra, a strange mixture that neither fully cancelled the other out. Naruko sat on a fallen log, panting, her orange jacket singed at the sleeve. Harry knelt nearby, breathing heavily, wand resting across his knees. That thing, she muttered, it's like trying to punch fog. She glanced over at him. But that light you made, that animal thing, that hurt it. What was that? Harry pushed his glasses up. It's called a Patronus. It's pure protective magic. You summon it with a happy memory, something so strong it pushes back darkness. He hesitated. My mum taught me about it before she died. Naruko's expression softened. You lost your mom too? Harry nodded slowly. There was a quiet moment between them, the kind that stretched without being uncomfortable. I never knew mine, Naruko admitted, fiddling with her glove. I grew up alone for a long time. Most people didn't want to talk to me. I didn't even know why, for years. Turns out. She trailed off, then looked up with a small grin. Turns out I had something sealed inside me. A fox demon. Crazy, huh? Harry blinked. A demon? Yup. Naruko patted her stomach. 9-tailed fox. Massive teeth. Real grumpy. But I'm not him. I'm just me. Her voice quieted. Even if some people still look at me like I'm not. Harry looked down at the wand in his hand. In my world. People look at me weird, too. They think I'm special because I survived an attack no one else could. But they don't know what it felt like. Losing everything. Being famous for something you didn't choose. He glanced at Naruko. I get it, I think. What it feels like to be different. To carry something inside you that you didn't ask for. Naruko blinked, then smiled, a soft, honest one this time, not her usual cheeky grin. Wow. You're kinda deep for a guy who fell out of the sky in his pajamas. Harry laughed, surprised by how easy it felt. And you're not nearly as loud as I thought you'd be. She leaned back on the log, folding her arms behind her head. Don't get used to it. They sat like that for a while, just resting under the trees, letting the night sounds return. In the darkness beyond the clearing, something rustled, but it didn't feel like the shadow. Just a deer, maybe. Still, Naruko was tense. I've been thinking, she said. That thing came through after you. It reacted to your magic, like it was connected to it. What if it is part of you? Or your past? Harry frowned. You think it's drawn to me? She nodded. Or maybe to the magic you used. Either way, we need to get ahead of it. You've got the spells, I've got the guts, and together we've got a shot. Harry looked at her seriously. You'd really fight something like that, for someone you just met? Naruko smirked. I've fought way scarier stuff for way dumber reasons. And then, with a playful punch to his shoulder, she added, besides, I've got a good feeling about you, Harry Potter. Dash. The next day, they trained together. Naruko showed Harry how to balance on water, laughing as he slipped and splashed for the 5th time. Use your chakra, she explained, not just your feet. You're overthinking it, magic boy. Well, maybe if your river wasn't freezing, he spluttered, soaked to the knees. In turn, Harry taught Naruko how to use a simple levitation spell. It's Wingardium Leviosa, not Wobblegardia Leviasplat, he corrected, as a training dummy zoomed past her head. I like my way better, she yelled, ducking. They were chaotic, loud, stubborn, and oddly in sync. Shikamaru shook his head as he watched them train. Those two are gonna blow up half the village before they save it. But Hinata, standing quietly nearby, smiled. They're helping each other. That's rare. Dash. That night, after a long day of patrols, Naruko and Harry sat on the Hokage monument, staring up at the stars. Do you think you'll ever go back? Naruko asked softly. Harry was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I want to. But if I do, I might not see you again. She nudged his side. You're getting mushy. He smiled. No, I'm serious. You're the first person who gets me. Not because I'm the chosen one or anything. Just because. Naruko was silent, then gave a half shrug. Well, maybe I'll come visit your world sometime. Who knows? Maybe I'll open a ramen shop at Hogwarts. Harry laughed. I'd be your first customer. Dash. At this point, their bond had become something steady, more than friendship, maybe, but still innocent and real. When they stood side by side, facing the darkness, it wasn't just about stopping a monster anymore. It was about protecting each other. And when the Shadow Wraith finally returned, stronger than before, its body now crackling with stolen chakra and cursed magic, they were ready. Harry's Patronus burned brighter than ever. Naruko's Rasengan spun with wild, swirling energy. Together, they launched into the night, one of magic, one of chakra, two forces from different worlds, fused by courage. The final battle was about to begin. 3 days after their first encounter with the Shadow Wraith, the sky above Konoha began to shimmer again. This time, Naruko and Harry weren't caught off guard. They were in the Hokage's war room, poring over maps of the surrounding forest with Shikamaru and Tsunade when the tremor hit. The walls quivered. Candles flickered. A ripple of energy pulsed through the tower, not chakra, but something equally ancient. It's back, Harry said, eyes wide. No, Naruko said, eyes narrowing. Something else is coming. Outside, the villagers looked up as a beam of golden white light split the air just above the village gates. Unlike Harry's arrival, this portal was controlled, swirling with stabilizing magic, elegant and precise. With a loud crack, 2 figures tumbled out of the vortex and hit the ground with a twin oof. Hermione Granger was the first to rise, brushing off her robes and adjusting her wand holster with practiced hands. Her hair was frizzier than usual, her eyes sharp. Well, that was unpleasant, she muttered. Draco Malfoy groaned from behind her, scowling as he sat up. Tell me again why I had to come with you? Hermione ignored him. Her gaze had locked onto the approaching shinobi, and Harry Potter, standing beside a blonde girl in orange, wand already raised. Harry! She called out. Hermione? Harry's mouth dropped open. What, how did you? Hermione rushed forward and pulled him into a quick hug before stepping back and scanning the area. The magical rift you created, it triggered alarms back at Hogwarts. I tracked your signature and followed it here using modified time turner runes and a pinch of flue powder, thank you very much. Draco dusted off his cloak, clearly unimpressed. And she dragged me along in case it got too dangerous for one witch alone. He looked around. So, this is the ninja place? Doesn't even have indoor plumbing, does it? Naruko stepped forward, arms crossed, eyeing Draco with suspicion. And you are? Draco Malfoy. And you must be the village gremlin. Naruko's eye twitched. You want to say that again, Mr. Curtain Cape? Enough, Harry said, stepping between them. Hermione, Draco, this is Naruko Uzumaki. She's saved my life twice already, and she's the reason I'm still standing. Hermione gave Naruko a small, sincere smile. Then we owe you. Thank you. Naruko gave her a sideways glance. You're okay, I guess. Not sure about the other one. I'm right here, Draco muttered. Dash. That night, after a tense debriefing with Tsunade, the newcomers were housed in a guest wing of the Hokage Tower. Hermione quickly immersed herself in local scrolls, fascinated by chakra theory. Draco, bored and haughty, declared the entire village woefully primitive, though he showed an odd interest in summoning jutsu. Despite their differences, they agreed on one thing: the shadow creature was a threat to both their worlds. If it learned to consume chakra, Hermione explained, then it could evolve beyond what magic alone can counter. And if more portals open, then we might be looking at a full-on collapse of magical dimensional boundaries, Draco finished grimly. Harry glanced at Naruko. And you thought things were exciting before. Dash. The next morning, Harry and Naruko trained while Hermione and Shikamaru exchanged ideas on barrier creation. Draco, left to his own devices, wandered the market, until a scream shattered the peace. A shadow had emerged in the middle of the village. Unlike before, it didn't attack immediately. It stood, watching. Its form was more solid now, vaguely humanoid, with glowing white eyes and long arms that rippled like smoke. Naruko landed in front of it with a squad of Onbu. You're not scaring anyone this time. The wraith hissed, and Harry stepped beside her, wand glowing. Hermione and Draco flanked them moments later. Magic and chakra together, Hermione whispered. We hit it from both sides. Naruko nodded. Harry and I take the front. You two do whatever fancy spells you've got. The battle exploded into motion. Naruko launched forward, Rasengan spinning in her hand as she dodged tendrils of shadow. Harry's Patronus blasted a hole through the creature's arm, forcing it back. Hermione summoned a net of enchanted fire, and Draco, surprisingly focused, cast a binding charm with precise wand work. It fought back viciously, shadows stretching, forming blades and claws. It screeched as it was struck by a combined blow, a Rasengan charged with magical light. Harry and Naruko struck together, and for a brief moment, the creature flickered, unstable, cracked. But it didn't fall. Instead, it retreated, leaping into the air and vanishing in a swirl of mist. Dash. That night, the group gathered on the tower roof. Naruko rubbed her arm, bruised but grinning. Okay, so you all aren't completely useless. High praise, Draco said dryly. Hermione sipped tea. It's learning. Adapting. That's terrifying. Harry looked at Naruko, then at his friends. We'll stop it. Together. Draco scoffed. We're a bunch of kids with different toolkits and zero coordination. Hermione smirked. Speak for yourself. Actually, Naruko said, he's right. Everyone turned to her. We fight together, but we don't move like a team. Back home, ninja squads train for years. We learn to read each other, even without words. She looked at them seriously. You're smart. You're powerful. But unless we figure out how to combine all this stuff, chakra, magic, whatever, we're just making fireworks. Harry nodded slowly. So we train. All of us. Hermione stood. Then we'd better start tomorrow. Draco sighed. Of course. Dash. The next week was chaos. Naruko taught Draco basic chakra control, mostly by yelling at him until he stopped trying to levitate his feet. Hermione spent hours with Kurenai and Shikamaru, working on runic sealing circles that combined spells with genjutsu theory. Harry worked with Kakashi to blend his magical defense spells with substitution jutsu. They laughed. They argued. They built traps, broke illusions, and learned how to move as one. And through it all, Naruko and Harry grew closer. Not through grand moments, but the little ones, quiet conversations, shared meals, whispered encouragements in training. One evening, as the sun set over the Hokage monument, Naruko nudged Harry. You know, she said, you're not bad at this whole teamwork thing. He smiled. Thanks. I've had a good teacher. The morning after their intense training session, the group gathered around a dusty old scroll they had found tucked away in Konoha's ancient archives. Hermione was the first to unroll it, her eyes scanning the faded ink with a mixture of fascination and unease. This, she said quietly, is far older than anything we've seen before. It talks about a forbidden experiment, one that combined magic with chakra in ways no one should. Naruko leaned closer, intrigued. So, what does it say? Is this shadow thing some kind of jutsu gone wrong? Hermione shook her head slowly. No. It's worse. The scroll speaks of a dark wizard, powerful, cruel, who sought to transcend death itself. It says his soul was shattered across dimensions when his spell backfired, creating a monstrous shadow that feeds on both chakra and magic. Harry's breath caught in his throat. A dark wizard? Could it be Grindelwald? Draco's pale face turned serious for the first time since arriving in Konoha. Grindelwald never truly disappeared. He was obsessed with immortality and ultimate power. If this shadow is his fragmented soul, then what we're facing is no ordinary monster. It's a piece of him, seeking to become whole again. Naruko tightened her fists, her nine-tailed fox chakra flaring faintly around her. That explains why it's so powerful, and why it's hunting you, Harry. Hermione traced her finger over the scroll's diagrams, her brow furrowed. The text suggests a way to seal the shadow permanently, but it requires a unique ritual, one that blends magic seals with chakra-based genjutsu. It will take all of us, working together, to pull it off. Shikamaru rubbed his temple. Great. A cross-dimensional dark wizard's ghost that we need to trap with a combination of spells and ninja techniques. Sounds like a pain. Harry smiled wryly. You have a knack for understatement. For the next several days, the group divided their efforts. Hermione pored over magical theory with Tsunade and Kurenai, her mind racing to adapt her knowledge to chakra's strange flow. She found herself fascinated by the intricate balance of energy, similar yet different from magical mana. Meanwhile, Shikamaru worked with Draco, attempting to coordinate ninja strategy with magical combat tactics. Draco, surprisingly, began showing a more cooperative side, his pride wounded but his sharp mind focused. If this shadow is part Grindelwald, it will try to exploit any weakness, he warned. We need to anticipate every move. Naruko and Harry trained relentlessly. Their abilities had become stronger when combined, but controlling the fusion of chakra and magic was exhausting. Naruko taught Harry how to sense chakra pulses more intuitively, while Harry helped Naruko refine her focus to summon bursts of magical energy along with her Rasengan. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the Hokage monument, Harry and Naruko sat quietly on the rooftop, their breaths misting in the cooling air. "I never imagined I'd meet someone like you," Harry admitted softly. "Someone who understands the burden of carrying power and loss." Naruko smiled, her golden eyes reflecting the fading light. "You're not alone anymore. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Their moment was interrupted by a sudden tremor shaking the ground beneath them. From the forest at the village's edge, a deep, menacing growl echoed, a sound that sent chills down every spine. The shadow wraith had returned. But this time, it was different. Larger, more defined, its form no longer a flickering mist but a towering figure cloaked in darkness, pulsating with stolen magic and chakra energy. Its eyes glowed white-hot, and it moved with a terrifying intelligence. Hermione, Draco, Harry, and Naruko raced toward the disturbance, flanked by shinobi and wizard allies alike. The battle erupted instantly. Naruko darted forward, the Rasengan blazing with a new, magical brilliance, striking the shadow's side. Harry unleashed a Patronus charged with chakra energy, creating a blinding burst that forced the creature back. Hermione chanted ancient incantations, weaving complex seals that shimmered with glowing runes, while Draco unleashed curses that sizzled through the air like lightning. The team fought as one, their powers meshing in chaotic harmony. But the shadow was relentless. It absorbed attacks, shifting and evolving rapidly. With a roar, it unleashed a wave of darkness that sent everyone sprawling, draining energy and leaving burns like icy flames. Breathing hard, Hermione shouted, "It's feeding off our energy. We need to trap it now before it grows stronger." Shikamaru nodded grimly, signaling a retreat to regroup. Back at the village's war room, the group worked feverishly, combining their knowledge to prepare the sealing ritual described in the scroll. The plan was dangerous, a complex dance of magic and chakra requiring perfect timing and trust. Hermione and Shikamaru led the spellcasting and tactical coordination, Draco gathered rare magical artifacts from the village's hidden vaults, and Naruko and Harry trained until their combined attacks were flawless. The night of the ritual, the Valley of the End was bathed in a ghostly moonlight. The shadow wraith appeared, its form flickering with rage and desperation as it sensed its impending doom. Naruko stepped forward, her voice steady as she began the chakra chant, weaving her energy into the seals Hermione had prepared. Harry followed, his wand glowing bright as he poured his magic into the swirling circle of runes. Draco and Shikamaru guarded the perimeter, fending off lesser shadow creatures drawn to the wraith's power. The shadow roared and charged, but Naruko and Harry unleashed a combined attack, the Rasengan charged with magical light, striking the wraith squarely. The seals ignited, trapping it in a cage of glowing energy. For a moment, the shadow faltered, revealing a glimpse of a pale, haunted face, Grindelwald's. His eyes filled with regret as he whispered, "Forgive me." Then, with a final flash, the shadow shattered, dissolving into nothingness. The valley fell silent. As dawn broke, the group stood together, exhausted but victorious. Hermione looked around, a spark of determination lighting her eyes. "This isn't over." Grindelwald warned of darker forces, other beings who want to exploit the rift between our worlds. Draco smirked, a rare softness in his voice. "Looks like we're stuck with each other for a while." Naruko smiled at Harry. "You ready for whatever's next?" Harry nodded. "With you? Always." The worlds had collided, but their bond was unbreakable, and together, they would face the shadows yet to come. The dawn after the Shadow Wraith's defeat brought a peaceful quiet over Konoha that felt both unfamiliar and deeply welcome. The village buzzed gently with the routine rhythms of life, merchants opening stalls, children running through the streets, the faint scent of freshly brewed tea drifting from open windows. Yet beneath this normalcy, something new was blossoming. An alliance between two worlds, once strangers, now friends. And with it, the promise of growth. Harry Potter woke early that morning, the soft light spilling through the paper windows of the guest room where he stayed. Beside him, Naruko was already awake, quietly practicing hand seals with fluid precision. He smiled, the rhythm of her movements was hypnotic and familiar, a dance of power and focus he had come to admire. "You're up early," he said, stretching. Naruko glanced at him and grinned, her bright orange jacket stark against the room's simplicity. "Training never stops when the worlds are connected." Harry sat up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Still feels strange, you know? One day I'm running through Hogwarts corridors, the next I'm practicing Rasengan in a ninja village. Naruko laughed softly. You get used to it. Besides, it's not like I'm anywhere near as magical as you. He shook his head. You're more than that. You're brave, strong, and I don't think I could have beaten that shadow wraith without you. Naruko's cheeks tinged pink, but she looked away, pretending not to hear the compliment. Outside, the sounds of Konoha stirring beckoned them. After a quick breakfast with the others, Hermione and Draco already deep in discussion about the village's security protocols, Tsunade nodding along with amused patience, the day's lessons began. Naruko led Harry and Draco through a rigorous chakra control exercise near the training grounds. Draco huffed and puffed, struggling to maintain focus as Naruko barked corrections. Concentrate, Malfoy. Chakra flows through every cell. If you don't control it, it controls you. Draco rolled his eyes but made no protest. Slowly, under Naruko's steady guidance, he began to feel the faint pulse within himself, a rhythm he had never imagined before. Meanwhile, Hermione and Harry worked with Shikamaru under the shade of ancient trees. Hermione was fascinated by Shikamaru's strategic mind, asking endless questions about genjutsu and the tactical use of seals. If magic is like weaving threads of energy, then chakra is more like water, flowing and adapting. Shikamaru nodded thoughtfully. Yeah, and understanding its flow is key. If you can read your opponent's chakra, you know their next move. Harry felt a pang of homesickness but also excitement. Here, he was learning new ways to fight, new ways to protect the people he cared about. Later in the afternoon, Hermione took a break from theory to explore the village's marketplace with Naruko. They wandered past stalls selling herbs and weapons, the air fragrant with spices and laughter. Hermione's wide eyes took in every detail, from the handcrafted kunai to the intricate embroidery on the shinobi's garb. Naruko smiled. Konoha's like a family. Everyone's connected by chakra, like a web. Hermione nodded, pulling out a small notebook to jot observations. It's incredible how different but similar our worlds are. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden commotion nearby. A group of children had gathered, whispering nervously. Naruko approached, curious. One boy was holding a small, injured fox cub, its golden fur matted with dirt. It's okay, Naruko said softly, kneeling beside the child. I'll take care of it. Harry joined her, sensing the child's fear ease in her presence. We'll need herbs and some healing jutsu, Naruko said. Come on. Together, they tended the cub with gentle hands and whispered spells. It was a small moment, but one that reminded everyone why they fought to protect this world and each other. That evening, as the village settled, Harry found himself sitting beside Draco near the fire pit outside the guest quarters. You're not so bad with the chakra stuff, Harry said. Draco smirked. Don't get used to it. I'm only doing this because Hermione makes me. Harry laughed. She's got that effect on people. Draco's expression softened just a little. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad we came here. The stars blinked overhead as their voices faded into comfortable silence. From the moment Naruko accepted the responsibility of guiding this new alliance, it was clear that leadership wasn't just about power, it was about heart. Every morning, she rose before dawn, not only to train herself but to prepare the team mentally and physically for the challenges ahead. She had a way of motivating even the most stubborn warriors, her fiery spirit igniting determination in the hearts of both shinobi and wizards alike. Naruko's training sessions were legendary for their intensity but also for the care she showed her students. She knew firsthand the burden of balancing power and control, having grown up mastering chakra under the shadow of the Nine Tails. Now, teaching Harry to integrate magic with chakra was a challenge she embraced with patience. Focus on the flow, she told Harry one morning, her amber eyes sharp with encouragement. Magic is like a river. Chakra is the current beneath it. You need to feel both, not just command them. Harry closed his eyes, breathing deeply, trying to sense the intertwining energies as she described. At first, it was like trying to catch smoke, elusive and frustrating. But with Naruko's steady guidance, he began to feel a faint pulse, a rhythm beneath his skin that connected to the magic coursing through his wand. It was subtle but undeniable. Good, Naruko smiled. Now, let it guide you. This wasn't the Hogwarts Harry had known, where spells were precise and discreet, and power was channeled mostly through words and wand movement. Here, magic was a living thing, flowing through the very air like chakra, and both had to be balanced like a dance. At times, Harry struggled with the unpredictability of chakra, especially when emotions flared. A surge of anger or fear could send energy spiraling out of control, causing sparks or bursts that endangered everyone around him. Naruko understood this well. You have to master your heart before you master your power, she told him during a particularly frustrating training session when his magic backfired, singeing the training dummy and nearly setting a tree ablaze. Harry sighed, rubbing his temple. It's harder than it looks. Naruko stepped closer, placing a steady hand on his shoulder. You're not alone. We all have that struggle. But you have something many don't, your heart is strong. That's why you can be the bridge between our worlds. Meanwhile, Naruko herself was growing into her leadership role, not just as a fighter but as a mentor. She spent time with the younger shinobi, teaching them not only ninja techniques but lessons about trust and courage. She encouraged open conversations with the wizards, helping them understand chakra and how to weave their spells in harmony with it. Her ability to listen, to inspire, made her a pillar in this fragile new alliance. When tensions arose, like the day some shinobi questioned the wisdom of teaming with outsiders, Naruko stood firm, reminding them of what was at stake. We are stronger together, she said, voice clear and unwavering. Magic and chakra, wizard and ninja, we complete each other. If we forget that, we lose everything. Her words resonated deeply, bridging gaps and calming fears. Harry watched this growth with admiration. Naruko wasn't just a powerful warrior, she was a beacon of hope, guiding them all toward unity. But his own journey wasn't without setbacks. Adjusting to this hybrid life tested him in ways Hogwarts never had. The discipline of chakra control clashed with the instinctive flick of a wand. Sometimes, the two systems felt at odds, like trying to speak two languages at once. One afternoon, after a training session left him exhausted and frustrated, Harry sat by the village stream, skipping stones over the water's surface. Naruko joined him, sitting quietly beside him. Feeling out of sync? She asked gently. Harry nodded. Magic feels precise. Chakra is chaotic. I don't know how to make them work together. Naruko smiled knowingly. It's like learning a new dance. You stumble at first. But with practice, the steps become natural. She paused, then said, remember your first broom flight? You fell off more times than I can count. But you kept trying. Harry chuckled, the memory easing some of the tension. I guess it's the same. Naruko nudged him. Exactly. And you're not alone. We're all learning, together. That night, as Harry lay in his room, he practiced slowly, drawing chakra into his fingers and feeling the magic hum beneath. It was no longer smoke to catch, it was becoming a part of him. The days that followed were filled with small victories. Harry learned to cast spells that flowed seamlessly with his chakra, creating shimmering shields and healing bursts that blended both worlds' power. Naruko's confidence grew as she watched him progress. Outside training, their friendship deepened too. They shared stories of their pasts. Harry spoke of Hogwarts, of the battles against Voldemort, and of the friends he missed. Naruko told of the challenges growing up as a Jinchuriki, the isolation and fear, and the strength she found in her village. Their bond was more than just allies fighting a common enemy, it was a bridge between two worlds, two ways of life. Meanwhile, Hermione and Draco, inspired by Naruko and Harry's partnership, began exploring ways to combine their own magical talents with shinobi techniques. Hermione's insatiable curiosity led her to study chakra flow, fascinated by its similarities to magical ley lines, while Draco cautiously experimented with spells that could enhance ninja stealth and speed. One afternoon, Draco approached Naruko after a training session, wiping sweat from his brow. You're a tough teacher, he admitted, half smiling. But I think I'm starting to get it. Naruko laughed. Tough but fair. Draco nodded thoughtfully. Maybe there's more to this ninja world than I thought. Hermione, overhearing, smiled. It's amazing how much we can learn from each other. The village itself seemed to hum with new energy. The blending of magic and chakra created possibilities no one had imagined, enchanted weapons powered by chakra, healing jutsu enhanced by spells, and shared defenses that protected Konoha from threats both mundane and mystical. But with progress came challenges. Some shinobi found magic alien and unpredictable, while some wizards struggled with the physical demands of chakra control. The alliance was still fragile, balanced on trust and understanding. Naruko often found herself mediating disputes, reminding everyone of their shared goal. We're building something new here, she told the council one evening. It won't be perfect, but it's worth fighting for. Harry agreed. Together, we're stronger than we've ever been. As weeks turned into months, the team's confidence grew. The memories of the Shadow Wraith faded into a distant shadow, replaced by hope and determination. Harry's magic and chakra had fused into a unique power that made him a symbol of the new alliance, a warrior who bridged worlds. Naruko, too, had grown into a leader admired by all, fierce, compassionate, and unyielding. One day, standing atop the Hokage monument, watching the sun set over the village, Harry turned to Naruko. "We've come a long way." Naruko smiled, her eyes reflecting the fiery sky. "And this is only the beginning." Together, they faced the future, united, stronger, ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. Hermione Granger's curiosity was insatiable, a trait that had earned her both admiration and teasing back at Hogwarts. Now, in Konoha, a village humming with the pulse of chakra, her intellectual appetite found a whole new frontier. From the very first moment she stepped into this world, she was captivated by the invisible threads of energy flowing through every living being, binding the people and the land like a living web. "Chakra," she whispered to herself one morning, sitting cross-legged in a sunlit clearing just outside the village. "It's both so similar and yet so different from magic." Beside her, Tsunade watched with a knowing smile. "You want to learn, don't you? Not just the basics, but the heart of it." Hermione nodded eagerly. "Yes. I want to understand how it works, not just how to use it, but how it is." Tsunade, the legendary Hokage and medical ninja, had taken a special interest in Hermione's studies. She recognized a rare mind, someone who could bridge the gap between their worlds with more than just power, someone who could truly understand. The lessons began simply: chakra control, the basics of molding the energy inside the body, sensing its flow. But for Hermione, the challenge was deeper. She needed to translate these new experiences into a framework her mind could grasp, one that connected to the magical theory she knew. During the first few weeks, Hermione spent hours practicing breathing techniques and meditation, attempting to feel the chakra flowing within her. She was amazed at how the sensation was unlike any magical energy she'd felt before, more fluid, more connected to the body and mind simultaneously. "Imagine magic as a melody," she explained to Naruko during one training session. "It's beautiful and powerful but structured in notes and spells. Chakra is like a river, constant, shifting, and alive." Naruko nodded. "Exactly. You have to learn to swim with it, not just command it." Hermione's notebook filled quickly with observations, diagrams of chakra pathways, comparisons to magical ley lines, hypotheses about how jutsu and spells could intertwine. Her excitement was contagious. Even Draco Malfoy, who had reluctantly joined her studies, found himself intrigued. "I never thought I'd admit this," he said one afternoon, "but chakra control might actually be useful." Hermione smiled at his rare compliment. "It's more than useful. It's transformative." One afternoon, while practicing a basic chakra flow exercise near the waterfall, Hermione experienced something unexpected. As she closed her eyes, focusing on the energy within, she felt a sudden surge, a rush of warmth and light that moved through her veins like fire. Opening her eyes, she gasped. Around her fingers, faint shimmering sparks flickered, dancing like tiny stars. She had accidentally summoned a small amount of chakra-imbued magical energy without consciously trying. Naruko, watching nearby, grinned. "Looks like you're starting to get the hang of it." Hermione's cheeks flushed with pride and excitement. "I have to understand this better." Back in the village library, Hermione spent long hours poring over ancient scrolls and ninja manuals, cross-referencing them with magical tomes she'd brought from Hogwarts. Slowly, a theory began to form. What if chakra was a natural force, a kind of living magic that all worlds possessed in different forms? And what if the key to stronger spells and jutsu was learning to weave them together? Her experiments became more ambitious. With Tsunade's help, she crafted simple chakra seals enhanced by magical glyphs, tiny symbols that could boost chakra flow or stabilize energy. The results amazed everyone when even novice shinobi reported feeling steadier and more powerful during training. The breakthrough came when Hermione successfully cast a protective ward, a barrier that shimmered with both chakra and magical light. It was unlike anything the village had seen before, a true fusion of worlds. The news spread quickly, drawing the attention of both wizard and shinobi elders. Harry watched with admiration as Hermione's quiet determination turned into a force that could reshape their alliance. But it wasn't just about power. Hermione's fascination with chakra opened a new window into understanding the people of Konoha. She realized chakra was not just energy, it was deeply tied to emotions, memories, and willpower. It was a reflection of the soul itself. One evening, as the group sat around a campfire after a long day, Hermione shared her latest insight. "Chakra is like a mirror," she said softly. "When someone is angry or fearful, their chakra changes. It becomes sharp, unstable. When they are calm and focused, it flows smoothly." Naruko nodded. That's why training the mind is just as important as training the body. Harry added, it explains a lot about why magic sometimes fails. If your heart isn't in it, the spell falters. Hermione's eyes sparkled with new determination. If we can learn to balance magic and chakra, to align heart and mind, we could unlock potentials neither world has ever dreamed of. The group fell silent, absorbing the weight of her words. In the weeks that followed, Hermione's studies took her deeper into the village's cultural practices. She attended ceremonies where shinobi offered chakra prayers to the spirits of the land, witnessing firsthand the reverence and respect embedded in every tradition. She began to see parallels to wizarding customs, Patronus magic, ancient wards, even the unbreakable vow. Both worlds, she realized, sought harmony between power and responsibility. But understanding chakra wasn't without its challenges. One afternoon, while attempting a complex chakra manipulating spell, Hermione lost control. The energy surged wildly, sending a shockwave through the training grounds that knocked over trees and startled her friends. Panting and shaken, she looked at Naruko, who approached calmly. Don't be discouraged, Naruko said kindly. Mastering chakra takes time, and mistakes are part of learning. Hermione nodded, swallowing her frustration. I just wish I could grasp it faster. Naruko smiled. You will. And when you do, you'll be unstoppable. That night, Hermione lay awake, reflecting on her journey. She thought about the worlds colliding, the magic and the chakra, the challenges and the friendships, and felt a deep sense of purpose. She wasn't just a student here. She was a bridge, a seeker, someone who could bring light to both realms. Her dreams were filled with swirling colors and glowing energy, a dance of power and harmony. Morning came, and with it, renewed determination. The fusion of magic and chakra wasn't just a theory anymore. It was a living reality, one she was determined to master. And with every breath, every heartbeat, Hermione Granger stepped closer to unlocking the secrets that would change their world forever. Harry and Naruko's mornings began before the sun had fully risen, the village wrapped in the soft hush of dawn. It was a time they both cherished, a moment of calm before the demands of the day. Naruko stood by the training field, her eyes sharp and focused, already in motion as Harry approached, wand and determination at the ready. Ready? She asked, the familiar spark of challenge lighting her gaze. Harry grinned, gripping his wand tightly. Always. Their training was unlike anything Harry had experienced before. Here, magic was no longer just about incantations and wand movement, it intertwined seamlessly with the flow of chakra, a living energy coursing beneath the skin. Naruko guided him patiently, showing how to draw chakra into his spells, how to feel its pulse and merge it with his magic. Let the chakra guide the magic, don't force it, she instructed, her hands weaving precise signs. Control the current, or it controls you. Harry concentrated, feeling the dual energies swirl inside him, the precise spark of magic and the fluid, powerful tide of chakra. At first, they clashed, but under Naruko's steady presence, they began to harmonize, creating shimmering bursts of energy that glowed with a unique brilliance. Each day their bond grew stronger, not just as teammates, but as friends learning to trust and rely on one another. Harry found in Naruko a leader who was fierce yet understanding, a warrior whose strength was matched by her compassion. Naruko, in turn, admired Harry's unwavering courage and his ability to adapt and persevere. Between training sessions, they shared quiet moments, talking about their worlds, their fears, and their hopes. Harry told stories of Hogwarts grand halls and magical duels. Naruko shared memories of her childhood, the weight of being a Jinchuriki, and the importance of protecting her village. You carry a heavy burden, Harry said one evening as they sat beneath the sky bursting with stars. But you never show it. Naruko shrugged, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Burden or not, it's mine. And I'm not giving up. Harry smiled softly. Neither am I not with you here. Their friendship was a dance of strength and vulnerability, pushing each other to grow beyond what they thought possible. One afternoon, a mission brought them to the outskirts of the village, a mysterious energy disturbance that rippled through both magic and chakra. Together, they faced it head-on, blending their powers in a dazzling display. Harry's spells were enhanced by Naruko's chakra control, while her jutsu became more precise with his magical guidance. As the threat dissipated, Naruko glanced at Harry, breathless but exhilarated. We make a good team. Harry nodded, his grin wide. The best. Through every challenge, they learned not just to master their powers but to understand the deeper connection between their worlds, and between themselves. Together, Harry and Naruko stood at the crossroads of magic and chakra, ready to face whatever the future held. The rhythm of their days settled into a steady cadence, wake, train, learn, protect. In the quiet hours before dawn, Harry found comfort in Naruko's unwavering presence. They began each session with meditation, a practice Harry hadn't known before but quickly grew to rely on. Sitting cross-legged on the soft grass, they focused on the flow of chakra, tuning their minds and bodies to the subtle currents of energy. Naruko's voice was calm and steady as she guided him through the breathing exercises. Breathe deeply. Let the chakra gather in your core, like a flame that never goes out. At first, Harry's mind struggled to still the torrent of thoughts, memories, and doubts that swirled inside him. But with Naruko's patient encouragement, he learned to center himself, to become aware not just of the energy around him but the one inside. Feel it, Naruko whispered one morning as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink. Not just with your hands, but with your heart. Harry closed his eyes and concentrated, and slowly, a warmth spread through his chest, radiating out to his fingers. When he opened his eyes, a small, shimmering orb of light hovered just above his palm, a delicate fusion of his magic and her chakra teachings. Naruko's smile was radiant. That's it. You're connecting the worlds. Over time, they pushed the boundaries of what Harry could do. Spells that once required careful word and wand movement became instinctive. The energy around him shifted, a living thing responding to his will and emotion. Naruko taught him how to mold chakra like clay, shaping it into protective barriers or focused blasts that could amplify his spells. The two energies wove together in brilliant dances of light and power, drawing the attention of their allies. One afternoon, as they sparred in the training grounds, Harry found himself caught in a whirlwind of chakra-enhanced jutsu and magical counterattacks. Naruko moved like the wind, graceful, fierce, precise. Harry blocked and dodged, each moment sharpening his reflexes. Your magic is quick, she teased, but your chakra flow needs work. Harry grinned, sweat dripping down his brow. I'll get there. They paused, both breathing hard, and Naruko offered him a rare moment of praise. You're learning fast. Faster than I expected. That acknowledgement meant more to Harry than he could say. Outside training, their friendship deepened in quiet, meaningful ways. They shared meals, stories, and laughter, finding comfort in the shared experience of being caught between worlds. Harry often thought about the friends he missed at Hogwarts, but with Naruko by his side, the loneliness eased. One evening, as they rested near the village's sacred spring, Harry spoke softly. Sometimes, I wonder if I'll ever truly belong here. Naruko looked at him thoughtfully. Belonging isn't about where you come from, but what you choose to build. You're not just a visitor, Harry, you're part of this world now. Her words grounded him, reminding him that strength came not only from power but from connection. Their growing bond wasn't just about friendship, it was about trust. During missions, they relied on each other's unique skills, covering blind spots and combining their abilities in ways that surprised even them. When danger struck, Harry's magical shields flared as Naruko's chakra blades sliced through shadows, a seamless dance of defense and offense. The villagers came to respect and admire their partnership, seeing in them a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the most unlikely alliances could change the course of history. But challenges remained. Harry sometimes struggled with the unpredictability of chakra, especially when emotions surged unexpectedly. Naruko helped him find balance, reminding him to breathe, focus, and center his heart. You're stronger than you know, she told him once, her voice steady. Trust yourself. In turn, Harry offered Naruko a new perspective, the power of magic to inspire, to heal, and to connect beyond physical limits. Together, they experimented with spells that could amplify chakra control or heal wounds faster, blending knowledge in ways that expanded both their worlds. One memorable day, after a grueling training session, Naruko surprised Harry with a simple gift, a small charm infused with chakra that resonated with his magic. For when you need a reminder, she said softly. Harry held it close, feeling the warmth of their shared journey. Their daily life was a dance of growth, challenge, and connection, a testament to what could happen when two worlds collided not in conflict but in harmony. Together, Harry and Naruko stood ready to face whatever trials awaited, their friendship and powers intertwined like the threads of a grand tapestry. After a particularly intense morning training session where Harry had tried, and spectacularly failed, to combine a fire jutsu with a fiery magic spell, Naruko couldn't help but laugh, a bright, genuine laugh that surprised even her. Harry, cheeks flushed and hair slightly singed, gave her a mock glare. Hey, I was going for spectacular, not spontaneous combustion. Naruko grinned, folding her arms. Spectacular or not, you definitely know how to make an impression. As they sat on the grassy field catching their breath, Harry noticed Naruko's eyes twinkling mischievously. Alright, Naruko, what's the challenge today? Make Harry embarrass himself in front of the whole village? He teased. Naruko raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. Funny you mention that. Today's lesson is chakra control. But with a twist. Harry groaned. Oh no, what now? Naruko pulled out a small wooden target on a stick. We're practicing accuracy, but you'll be using your magic to hit it, while maintaining chakra flow. Harry eyed the target skeptically. Sounds easy enough. Not when I add a little distraction, Naruko warned with a sly smile. Before Harry could ask what kind of distraction, she flicked her fingers, and suddenly, dozens of tiny, glowing butterflies appeared, fluttering erratically around his head. Great, Harry muttered, ducking as one landed on his nose. I'm supposed to aim with this chaos going on? Naruko laughed harder. Exactly. You'll learn focus. Harry took a deep breath, trying to ignore the tickling butterflies. He raised his wand, focused his chakra, and whispered the incantation for a precise magical blast. The spell shot forward. And missed the target by a good 2 feet, sending a butterfly spiraling into the air. Naruko clapped, barely containing her laughter. Not bad. For a first try. You definitely hit entertaining. Harry groaned but smiled. I'll get you back for this. Later, as they cooled down near the village fountain, Harry noticed Naruko fiddling with a strange scroll. What's that? He asked. Naruko smirked. A new technique I've been working on. It's supposed to boost chakra flow through laughter. Harry raised an eyebrow. Laughter? Really? Naruko nodded seriously. It's an ancient method. You laugh, your energy relaxes, and your chakra flows more freely. Harry grinned. Sounds like you're making excuses to annoy me. Maybe, Naruko admitted, but if it helps you control your chakra, I'm all for it. So, the next training session turned into a laughter-filled chaos. Naruko told terrible jokes, some so bad they made Harry groan and laugh at the same time. They tried silly exercises like balancing on one foot while reciting spells, resulting in more falls than successful attempts. At one point, Harry accidentally triggered a small magical explosion that singed Naruko's sleeve. She raised her eyebrows and said with a grin, "That's one way to warm up." Harry chuckled. "I call it creative magic." Between the giggles and misfires, Harry felt a lightness he hadn't known he needed, a reminder that even in the toughest battles, joy and friendship were powerful forces. Naruko nudged him playfully. Ready for the next challenge? Harry smirked. Bring it on. But maybe no more butterflies. Naruko laughed. No promises. The days that followed were a whirlwind of discovery and laughter, training and trials. Harry and Naruko had found a rhythm, but that rhythm was far from predictable. Their unique bond was tested in ways neither had imagined, shaped by moments both exhilarating and awkward, intense and lighthearted. One early morning, Harry awoke to find Naruko already waiting outside his temporary room near the village center, her hands on her hips and a mischievous smile playing on her lips. Ready for today's lesson? She asked, eyes sparkling with challenge. Harry rubbed the sleep from his eyes, trying to match her energy. Does it involve butterflies again? Naruko shook her head, though the grin on her face suggested otherwise. No, but you'll need to focus even more. Today, we're combining your magic with a higher level chakra technique, chakra threads. Chakra threads? Harry echoed, curiosity piqued. Naruko nodded. It's a technique that lets you manipulate chakra strands like strings, weaving them to bind or guide energy. With your magic, you could use them to channel spells more precisely. Harry felt a thrill run through him. This was the kind of challenge that made his heart race, the kind that stretched his limits. All right, let's do it. They moved to a quiet clearing surrounded by ancient trees, their leaves whispering secrets in the morning breeze. Naruko demonstrated first, weaving her fingers through the air as thin, glowing strands of chakra shimmered between her hands. They pulsed and shifted like living silk, glowing softly in the dim light. Try to feel the strands as if they were extensions of your own limbs, Naruko instructed. Guide the chakra with your thoughts, then merge your magic into them. Harry closed his eyes and reached out with his senses. At first, the threads felt elusive, intangible, like trying to grasp smoke. But slowly, he learned to anchor them, to twist and pull the strands as he imagined, infusing them with the quiet hum of his magic. When he opened his eyes, he directed the glowing threads toward a nearby rock, wrapping them around it gently. Then, with a flick of his wand, the threads ignited into a soft, radiant cage, shimmering with magical light reinforced by chakra. Naruko's grin was triumphant. You're a natural. Harry's smile widened, but just then, one of the chakra threads slipped loose, zipping toward a squirrel that was curiously watching from a tree branch. The creature chirped in surprise and scurried away, the glowing strands unraveling harmlessly. Naruko laughed. Looks like you've got to learn to keep those threads under control. Harry chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. Guess I'm still a beginner. They spent the rest of the morning practicing, with Naruko tossing playful challenges Harry's way, sometimes binding his arms lightly with chakra threads, forcing him to rely on quick thinking and magic to free himself. At one point, Harry managed to weave a complex pattern of threads that pulsed with magical energy, creating a sparkling web that caught a handful of falling leaves midair. Not bad, Naruko said, impressed. You're blending chakra and magic more smoothly every day. The playful teasing was always balanced with encouragement, and Harry thrived in that environment. In quieter moments, their conversations deepened. They shared their fears and hopes, discovering that despite coming from worlds so different, their dreams often echoed each other's. One evening, as twilight softened the village in shades of purple and gold, Harry and Naruko sat beneath a sprawling oak tree. Harry poked at the dirt with a stick, thoughtful. You know, he began slowly, at Hogwarts, magic sometimes felt like a safety net, a way to protect those I cared about. Here, with chakra, it feels more personal. Like it's tied to who you are, not just what you can do. Naruko nodded. That's the truth of chakra. It's part of you, your strength, your will, your pain. You can't separate it from your heart. Harry looked at her, a question forming. Does it ever get overwhelming? The weight of it? Naruko's eyes darkened briefly, memories flickering across her face. Sometimes. But it's also a reminder, why I fight, why I protect. That burden is what makes us strong. Harry reached out, lightly touching her shoulder. I'm glad I'm not carrying it alone. Naruko smiled, a warmth blossoming between them. Their teamwork was tested in unexpected ways when a sudden disturbance rippled through Konoha. Dark energy, neither pure chakra nor magic, seeped into the village, unsettling its inhabitants and disrupting the harmony Harry and Naruko worked so hard to build. They were called to investigate, Naruko leading the way with Harry close behind. The energy led them to the outskirts, where shadows twisted unnaturally, and the air felt thick with menace. Stay close, Naruko warned, drawing chakra into twin blades that shimmered with magic. Harry readied his wand, the tip glowing with a protective spell infused with chakra threads. Together, they stepped into the shadows. Suddenly, a shape lunged from the darkness, a creature born from corrupted energy, a twisted fusion of chakra and dark magic. It snarled, claws glowing with malevolent power. Harry and Naruko moved in sync, Naruko's blades cutting through the creature's defenses as Harry's spell struck with precise bursts of combined energy. The battle was fierce, their powers pushed to the limit as they fought to protect the village. At one point, Harry found himself trapped by tendrils of dark chakra, struggling to break free. Naruko's voice cut through the chaos. Focus, Harry. Use the threads. With a surge of will, Harry wove his magic into chakra strands, binding the tendrils and snapping them apart. Together, they landed the final blow, dispelling the dark energy. Breathing hard, they stood victorious but wary. That was close, Harry said, wiping sweat from his brow. Naruko nodded. But it showed us something important, we're stronger together. Despite the dangers, their days were punctuated by laughter and light moments. One afternoon, after a particularly exhausting training session, Naruko challenged Harry to a sparring match, not serious, just for fun. Harry accepted eagerly, wand and chakra ready. They circled each other, exchanging playful jabs of magic and quick chakra strikes. At one point, Harry cast a small burst of sparkling light toward Naruko, who dodged with a grin and retaliated by wrapping him briefly in soft chakra threads. Gotcha, she teased. Harry laughed, struggling to free himself. Hey, no fair. Naruko winked. All's fair in training. Their playful banter echoed through the training grounds, a reminder that even in the toughest journeys, friendship and joy were vital. As the days turned into weeks, Harry and Naruko's fusion of magic and chakra grew stronger, their bond deeper. They learned to read each other's movements, to anticipate thoughts and feelings without words. In quiet moments beneath the stars, they dreamed aloud of a future where their worlds could live not in fear or misunderstanding, but in harmony and strength. Harry looked at Naruko, feeling a fierce protectiveness mixed with admiration. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Naruko smiled, eyes reflecting the constellations. Together. And with that promise, they stepped forward, two souls united by destiny, weaving the threads of magic and chakra into a new story. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the village, Harry and Naruko returned to their training grounds, feeling a tired but satisfied calm after another day of progress. The bond between magic and chakra grew stronger with each passing moment, like two rivers merging into a powerful current. But as they settled beneath the ancient trees, an unexpected presence stirred in the air. Naruko's keen senses prickled, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the surroundings. "Something's not right," she whispered. Harry's hand instinctively tightened around his wand. "What do you feel?" Before Naruko could answer, a ripple tore through the air, the faint shimmer of a portal opening, but this one felt darker, more chaotic than before. From its depths stepped a figure cloaked in shadows, his eyes gleaming with a strange mixture of curiosity and menace. Harry's heart skipped. It was Draco Malfoy. But this Draco was not the schoolboy rival he remembered. His clothes were worn and strange, woven with dark energy that twisted the air around him. His gaze locked onto Harry and Naruko, sharp and calculating. "Harry Potter," Draco's voice was cold, but with an undercurrent of something deeper, conflicted, "Maybe. It seems our worlds are colliding more than I thought." Naruko stepped forward, chakra flaring around her like a protective shield. "Who are you, and what do you want?" Draco smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I came looking for answers. And perhaps, to change my fate." Harry's mind raced. What could bring Draco here? What dangers lurked in this unexpected visitor? Suddenly, a violent tremor shook the ground, a pulse of dark energy radiating from Draco. It was as if the darkness inside him had been twisted even further, corrupted by forces beyond their understanding. Naruko and Harry exchanged a glance, their silent communication full of urgency. They would have to face this challenge together, stronger and more united than ever. The battle that followed was fierce and unlike any they had faced before. Draco wielded a volatile blend of magic and corrupted chakra, his attacks unpredictable and destructive. Harry and Naruko combined their powers, weaving threads of light and shadow, spells and jutsu, in a desperate effort to contain him. But as the fight escalated, Harry caught a flicker of pain in Draco's eyes, a hint that this was not a battle he truly wanted to fight. "Draco," Harry called out during a brief pause, "this isn't you. We can help." Naruko's voice softened as she stepped closer, her chakra blades lowering. "You don't have to carry this darkness alone." For a moment, the tension eased, Draco's expression flickering between anger and something more vulnerable. Then, with a sigh, he lowered his wand, the dark energy dissipating like smoke. "I don't know who I am anymore," Draco admitted quietly. "But maybe. With your help, I can find out." In the days that followed, the three of them worked together, Harry, Naruko, and Draco, exploring the delicate balance between magic and chakra, light and darkness. It was a fragile peace, built on trust and hope. Naruko's leadership shone as she guided them through difficult exercises, helping Draco learn to control his corrupted chakra, while Harry offered insights from his magical knowledge. They shared moments of struggle and triumph, laughter and quiet reflection. Slowly, the darkness within Draco began to lift, replaced by a growing strength born from friendship and understanding. As the village healed and the portal's dangers faded, Harry and Naruko found themselves alone beneath the stars, the night sky vast and full of promise. Harry looked at Naruko, his heart full. "We've come a long way." Naruko smiled, her eyes bright with warmth. "And we're only just beginning." Their hands found each other, fingers intertwining naturally. "No matter what comes next," Harry said softly, "we face it together." Naruko leaned her head on his shoulder, a gentle promise in her voice. Together. Under the watchful gaze of the constellations, two worlds, magic and chakra, had collided, not in chaos, but in harmony. And in that harmony, Harry and Naruko found something greater than power, a home, a bond, and a love that would carry them forward. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the worlds of Harry Potter and Naruto, where magic and chakra collide in a story of friendship, growth, and hope. If you enjoyed this fanfic and want to see more deep dives, original stories, and exciting content blending your favorite anime and fantasy universes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support means the world, and it helps keep Six Path Weeb growing, bringing more unique stories and discussions to life. This fanfic may have been short, but the adventures and connections between Harry and Naruko are just the beginning. Stay tuned for more epic tales and fascinating crossovers coming your way. Once again, thank you for watching, reading, and being part of the Six Path Weeb community. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep embracing your inner ninja mage.